idea that I have to take trading unreasonably slow. I've been trading on and off for about 5 years with tiny capital, and I don't want to be getting into something that tells me I'm going to have to lower my expectations lower than they already are. And then lastly, the last quote I picked out was, the only hang up is that all of these people getting involved in your program have to have way more money than me. As I looked at some prices of things, some of the training programs that we offer, and holy cow, I would have to save for years. Trading is going to be my future, but what the hell? How do people afford this stuff before they become successful traders? And what I'm reading into these comments is, again, this trader is most likely at a very frustrated point. Again, they've been trading on and off for multiple years, 5 years, but haven't really achieved what they want to achieve. And they're starting to compare themselves to others, compare themselves to the factory worker they used to work with, and really have doubts about, are they going to be able to succeed or not? And the biggest thing that I think this trader needs to understand is that money isn't the hard part, especially if you're one of the last complaints was about how do I afford education, right? Money isn't the hard part. That's the least of your concerns. The first thing I would advise this trader to do is talk to the former factory worker that taught them trading. It's obvious this guy did something well. This guy is now a successful trader based off the quote. If you're serious about trading, right, and serious about anything in life, the main goal you should have is, right, how can I go all in? How can I put myself in the best position to succeed? And often the best position to succeed is what? What do you guys think the easiest way to become successful is? What do you guys think? Nobody? I know we're on a little bit of a delay here. The easiest way to become successful is to find someone else. Yep. Find someone else who is already successful and copy them. So the first thing I would tell this trader is, again, you have someone you know that has become successful. They've been through the grind. You said they didn't work out at first, but after a couple of years, the guy is making 10K on average, right? You know someone that is successful. The first thing you should do is go to that successful person and say, look, I want to learn, teach me what you know, I am willing to do anything. That's the first thing you should do. And if you haven't taken that action yet, it shows me that you aren't serious. You're not at that point in life yet where you're really ready to be successful, because it does take a commitment. It does take a commitment. One of the other things that I say is he says the hang up is that all these people in your program have way more money than me. And that's making the assumption that people that take our training courses are all, rich and wealthy or whatnot. And that's certainly not the case. The question is, how much are you willing to commit? Pick up some more hours. Get a part-time job. Cigarettes, drinks, right? Partying on the weekends, right? Going to the bar, buying your friends a drink, right? Stuff like that. If you're really committed to saving, right, because you're really committed to becoming a successful trader, you should be doing everything in your power to put yourself in a position to succeed. And sometimes that means sacrifice. Now, if you're telling me that you're not willing to kind of sacrifice your everyday life, right, for a year in order to save up for something that can transform your life forever, how dedicated are you? How serious are you about getting good? We had a trader I worked with named was Philip Stewart, right? I remember him contacting me, talking about, hey, he was interested in trading, wanted to get involved and whatnot, but couldn't afford the course. Yeah, great guy. He's a professional trader in Australia now, dealing with kangaroos, no doubt. They got a kangaroo problem down there. But I remember this guy contacting me, and he told me, he said, hey, Akil, I want to take your course. I am going to become, right, an independent, consistently profitable trader, but you're going to have to give me a year. And with most people, you can just imagine how many times we hear this from people every day. So I'm like, okay, yeah, everyone says this, whatever. I'll never hear back from this guy. This guy stayed in contact, right, for about 9 months. And then one day he gave me a message and he said, hey, I'm about to sign up. He committed himself to saving, to working a little bit extra, right? doing odd jobs, picking up some more hours, whatever it was, cutting down the expenses in his life. And he paid for his course, all by making that little bit of a sacrifice. So to hear it offends me in anything, not just trading. It offends me when people say, when people have the expectation that anything of worth is going to come overnight. When you say, oh man, Akil, I really want to get good at trading, but you're telling me that I won't become a good trader for a year and a half? That offends me. Because again, look at the risk reward, right? You commit a year and a half to doing what you need, 2 years to doing what you need to become good. Maybe it means you suck in the market for 2 years because you're donating money left and right trying to figure out how to make it work. But if it does work, if you are successful, and if you're like me, if you're like Jason Greystone, you come into this with no doubt that you're going to be successful. The question isn't if, it's when. How long is that success going to last? A lifetime. Generations. When you look at it from that perspective, is it worth sacrificing for a year? Is it worth doing a little hard work? Pulling an Akil and eating peanut butter sandwiches, cheese sandwiches, and ramen noodles for a year to save up? Is that worth it? I think so. I think so. Again, guys, saving money, making money, that's the easy part. If you think making money is hard, you're fooling yourself. Because you can pick up a part-time job. There are plenty of people willing to pay you to do stuff that they don't want to do. It is easy to make money. Go work at McDonald's. It may not be a glorious job flipping burgers, but guess what? You'll get a paycheck. Making money isn't the hard part. The hard part is building the skill. And building the skill takes time. That is the hard part. And for this trader who's been on and off trading for 5 years, you've wasted 3 years of your life. If you would have committed the first 2 years to learning how to trade, you could have started seeing success by year 3. Say you commit a year to saving up, right? Learning the basics on the way. You commit a year to taking a course after you saved it for a year, taking a course, learning how to trade and working on your skill. You could have spent the next 3 years growing your account. But instead, because you're dilly-dallying, you're dipping in and dipping out and dipping in and dipping out, it's 5 years later, and what do you have to look back at? Nothing. And I don't mean that to be harsh. You know what? It is harsh. I'm sorry. It is harsh. You need to hear it. All of you. The question is, when are you going to commit? And it's tough. It's tough to commit. Because we don't commit until we reach that point of urgency. That's the thing. We talk a big game. I've done the same thing. Think about diets. We talk a big game. I'm going to lose 10 pounds now, starting today. But it doesn't become a problem until it's a week before your best friend's wedding and you're not fitting into your suit. And now it's urgency, right? And now you've got to do whatever it takes to drop those pounds or you're not going to make it to the wedding. Trading needs to become like that for you, or whatever your goal is. It needs to become like that. It needs to be urgent, right? You know how everything we do is either geared towards gaining pleasure, right, or avoiding pain, right? You need to be right on that level where pain is right here. And if you take one more step back, pain is going to bite you in your ass. You need to be at that level mentally. Because it's only at that point where you're going to do everything you need to do to be successful. And when you commit that type of way, guys, when you commit that type of way, full out 100%, that's when success finds you. That's when success finds you. That's when you earn it. That's when you get it. And it's an amazing feeling. I get the question, would it be economical to trade demo for 2 years and save the $4,000? Of course. Here's the thing. it's going to take you a while to become a successful trader anyhow. You know, ignore anything out there that says you can become a great trader in a month. It's BS, right? Typically, here's what I say, right? It takes you 90 days to learn the material, because that's because you're breaking old habits and installing new habits. It takes you 90 days to learn the material. It probably takes you another, everyone learns at different speeds. It probably takes you another, I would say, 6 months to start getting good. If there are any traders in the room right now, you know, feel free to lend your opinion to it. It probably takes you another 6 months to start getting good. It probably takes you another year after that. I always say it takes about 2 years after you become good to really kind of get in the zone. So what I always say to traders is, while you're in that period of learning, of that period where you know you're going to be bad, because that's what we all do. We're always bad at something new. Continue to train that skill and don't waste any money. Save that money. Learn the basics, Bruce, while working that extra job, so you're saving up money. That way, by the time you do get good, you've already saved up, so you've got a nice account size that you can start with. You can get rolling. We had this conversation earlier in the live room today about Mark Douglas always broke down traders into 3 categories. He had the successful traders, he had the boom and busters, he had the failure traders, right? He had 50% at the bottom of traders that just fail. It's probably a little bit more than that these days because of all the scams out there and all the Forex has become more popular. Binary options is popular. So it's probably about 60% of traders just fail, right? 90, 90, 90. 90% of traders lose 90% of the money in 90 days, right? There's the middle section of about 30% that are the boom and busters, right? Those are the traders that they're good enough not to blow their accounts, but they're not quite good enough to get over the hump. Do any of you guys feel like you're at that point where you're okay? You're good, but something is your dish is missing that secret sauce to take it to the next level, right? That's where most traders are at. Trading in the Zone, yeah, great book by Mark Douglas. Great book, must read. And then there's 10% of the traders that are successful. And we were talking in the room this morning. We were talking about there's a guy, I want to say Bradley, new to the live room. I want to say, if you're watching Bradley, I'm sorry. I think it's Bradley or Bobby. He was talking this morning about how he feels he's in that stage. He's like, man, Akil, I get it, but there's something missing. There's something missing. And there comes a point where your natural skill will only take you to a certain level. And I take it back. I'm a big sports guy, right? If you read the Twitter handle, right? Sports addict, coffee junkie, right? That's me, right? And I remember I was naturally talented in any sport that I played, right? I was a good baseball player, good basketball player, good football player. Would have been a great soccer player if that was in, right? But there came a point where my natural skill only took me to this level. And as I got to the point where I got more serious, where I was thinking of when I was going on to play college sports and think about maybe a professional career, right? It came to a point where I started to plateau, right? My skill set only took me so far. And at that point, I remember my father signing me up for coaching, mentoring, instructions. I went to different clinics. I had individual coaching to help work on little tweaks, right? Instead of when I took a jump shot, instead of the wrist falling off this way, straighten it out some, right? Little small things to take my trading to the next level. Because I tell you what, it's anything in life. When you improve, when you're at a very low level starting off, you improve really, 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 really fast, right? But the closer you get to your ceiling, guys, the harder it is, right, to make those improvements. And for those boom and busters, that's when going to someone saying, hey, can you just watch me? Can you evaluate me? Can you let me know what I'm doing wrong? And it could be something very simple. We did a strategy lab on Monday with a counter trend trading setup. And we were talking to the trader. I said, hey, you know what? If you just move your stop loss a little bit up and you take targets here instead of that conservative target, it's going to change the game for you. He's like, oh, you know what? That might be it. Small things, guys. Small things. But it takes commitment to put yourself in that position. It takes commitment.